All right, great. Good evening, everyone. I hope all of you can see me and hear all of us. If you can see all of us, please type a yes in the chat box. Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on time this evening. And we'll be more than happy if you could just tell us in the chat box if you can see and hear us.
1 second. I think you'll have to give them some time because people
Yeah,
are coming in. Okay.
right.
Let
We
us
have a lot.
break all records. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Perfect.
Oh wow! Now we are talking. Now the number is yes. Now we are talking.
Right.
Good.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on time this evening and being a part of this webinar. Just a little bit of ground rules here. So, if at all you have any questions on the site, please make sure you put it all in the chat box. The entire Mindler team and the speakers and myself, we are here to answer all your queries. Just in case if we miss any query, please make sure you can write to us at hello@mindler.com and we will be more than happy to address all your questions. Right. Are we good to go?
We are good to go. However, I have a feeling we are still little far away, maybe a minute or 2 minutes away from breaking record. So bring it on. Let more of them join. Many more of them join us. Okay, we've got our very deserving panelist here with us, so we're going to have a very lively conversation. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for those kind words.
Thank you so much, Ritika. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. All right, so I'll just take the opportunity of introducing my panelist. And so today's topic, as you all know, is about opportunities and specializations in the world of law, something which we have been getting a lot of queries about. So we said, let's just go ahead with this webinar. And we have with us Ms. Kritika. She is an alumna of the elusive National Law University, Delhi. With the drive to be a change maker and create impact, she's always wanted to create a world-class law institute in India. And to Tread founded the IFIM Law School in Bangalore, which she is currently managing. She's also the member of trusting managing IFIM group of institutions and aspires to use her legal education to improve the education spectrum in India. We welcome you, Kritika. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really looking forward to the session this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We also have everybody's favorite, Mr. Parikshit Dhanda. I know most of you have seen him before. He's a professionally trained person from Harvard University. Mr. Parikshit Dhanda is also one of the leading life coaches, motivational speaker, and the career coaches in the country. With over 20 years of experience, he has mentored and trained more than 2 million students across all domains and regions. Understanding students' aspiration, along with their aptitude and motivating them to achieve excellence, has kept him busy for more than 2 decades. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I am Anchita. I am a career coach at Mindler, and I am an alum of the University of Delhi and Indian Institute of Psychology and Research. I am here to help you all throughout this webinar and take you through the same. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. I have the privilege of two young ladies here. And the amazing thing about Kritika is when I was talking to my guest, she happens to be an alumnus of National Law School, Delhi. Now, all of us know that when you talk about three most important exams in the country, I mean, there are many more, but when you talk about one of them is CLAT, and the second is ALET, and the third is LSAT. So, when we have a guest with us who cracked ALET and good old days, today the ALET story is very different. Don't worry, we're not going to start from there because that's very disheartening to understand how reservation is coming into law schools also. But she happened to crack the ALET exam, and then went on to do her law from National Law School, Delhi, a very, very competitive program. So we are going to have a good discussion with her in just a few minutes from now, and we'll get to hear her experience, how what is law all about, and no one better than a National Law School student talking to you. Okay, why I'm calling her a National Law School student? Because once a law student, you always remain a law student throughout your life. Okay, as our favorite famous Jetpalani used to say, you're a student forever. All right, great. Now let's understand about law. Please understand law. I'll just give you a very brief background because I love this story. All right, law at one point of time, and when it used to be a domain for people who were not, it used to be said that if you've not done anything else in life, you could do law. All right, it used to be from there to walk the entire curve. For today, law is one of the top 20 careers that you can think of. All right, number one. Number two, when you talk about law at one point of time also used to be your family. There is someone in your family who has a set legal practice, or your father or your grandfather happened to be a jury member, or a jurist or a judge or whatever. So there used to be a thing called law is for people who have a background. Today, that entire myth is demolished. Today, you can be a young professional. You could be from any background. You don't need any family support to be a great lawyer. All right. Next, another myth that has been shattered. Okay, a lot of families, and I'm not saying, I'm just kind of trying to exaggerate a bit so that all of you understand. Law at one point of time wasn't a career where a lot of young girls would get into this field, especially criminal law. All right. Today, you go to these national law schools and you see bright young girls making a phenomenal career without any backing whatsoever. All right. Now, why? Is because the earliest conventional rules used to be you become a lawyer, and that means you have to wear robes, you have to go to these lower courts, district courts and so on, and you have to fight, you have to go to the you have to go to jail, you have to meet your clients and so on and so forth. Today, please understand, I don't need to give you data, but there are thousands and thousands of these young brilliant professionals who never see a court during their entire lifetime. Now, why? Is because, please understand, after doing your law, a 5-year program, all right, now I'm just kind of giving you an idea. Litigation is not the only thing. Now, that's where you need to explore and open the horizons. For example, you could do your master's and work with any international organization. You could do your master's not only in law, it could be public policy, it could be international relations. You could still work with not only international organizations, you could work with think tanks. Next, you could have law and your master's could be economics and finance, and you could work with the Asian Development Bank, the World Banks, the RBIs and so on. You could do your law and then an MBA. Okay, law and MBA is a lethal combination. You could do your law and then chartered accountancy, company secretary, whatever is law, and you could work with companies, and you could start as a legal trainee and go on to become manager, AVP, VP legal, and ultimately head up to be a director legal. Okay, and all the companies that you can think about. Law is a very important necessity for thousands and millions of startups that you have in the country. We will get into specializations and we'll talk about it. Law also, from law, and then people used to think about civil services, that still stays. Whether it's IAS, IPS, you will see a lot of IPS officers being law graduates also. Okay, then law can open up you can do your masters, and then one day after getting your proper degrees, you could be teaching law graduates in schools or law schools, or even in an MBA business schools. You could do law and then go to Indian judiciary. You could write the judiciary exams and then go to the other side of law. With law, I'm saying sky is the limit with law. Now let's say go back to a very different era where law used to be criminal practice and civil practice. Okay. So basically, you're doing family matters, you're doing divorce, which is you're doing, other whether it's property disputes or whatever. And on the criminal side, it used to be all the crimes covered under IPC and many other things. Then from there, let's look at where law is today. Can I go from law to cyber law? Now imagine internet jurisdiction. You've got Instagram is based somewhere else, but you have published something. So there are so many laws. Now law is being talked about in schools. You've got cyberbullying. Now that's another law that's come into schools. Law is competition law. Law is also about privacy law. Law is environment. Law is intellectual property rights. There is so much of content that you're creating. So there is copyright, law is design, law is patents. Now, when we are talking about COVID, every country is trying to make medicine, right? Now, therefore, the moment it is brought in, we are talking about patent infringements. We are talking about who goes in first, monopoly rights, and so on and so forth. Law is also in the health sector. Law is pharmaceutical giants and deceptive similarity. I'm sorry, I'm not going to get you into technical jargon as far as law is concerned. Law happens to be a brilliant discipline. And I'm telling you, just like the other day, you heard me with a very dear friend, Divakar, and we talked about media and communication, mass media. And I said, this is one of the careers of the future. Similarly, we're talking about law. All right. Now, before we bring in our esteemed guest, let's talk about what are few characteristics that are required in order for you to do well in law. Number one, I will never get tired of telling you law requires discipline. Law requires voluminous reading, research, spontaneity, observation, negotiation, language proficiency, drafting skills, many other competencies that you need to have. But if you do your law program well, and then you get into whether you practice, whether you don't practice, whether you look at many other areas, whether it's publications, whether it's research, whatever areas we talk about, law can be a brilliant professional degree for you to have. Now talking about where should you study law. Now, my dear students, first, let me first handle this myth also. When you talk about studying law, India, you can't find any other place which is like India. Okay, India is very strong, and especially our law schools, the national law schools, which are based on the Harvard and the Yale law school methodology. Number one. Number two, a lot of people ask, can I go to US and study at the undergrad? No, if you have to look at international, UK becomes a better area for you to study. Why? Because it's Commonwealth law system. All right. However, post your law degree, once you've done your law degree, can you then go for your master's to UK, to US, and then of course write the bar exam and then clear the bar exam? Can you practice? Yes. All right. Now, another thing is, how do you crack these law exams? Okay, I can see a lot of questions. Please understand, when you talk about these three important exams, which is CLAT, ALET, and LSAT, and of course there'll be a lot of private universities having their own exams also, but many of them will take up the score of CLAT or LSAT. Okay, they'll take. Now, yes, there are changes. Before we talk about changes, I want to bring in Kritika here, our guest, to tell us about law school. If you could, maybe take another 5-10 minutes to talk about how is the journey from cracking the National Law School to how are those 5 years of being in a National Law School. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mr. Handa, for that question. Good evening, everybody. I'm so glad to be meeting all of you over this session. Thank you so much for joining us. So I just was noting down a couple of things that Mr. Handa said while he was talking to you, and all of them are true. So the first thing that he did talk about, right? There was this myth earlier that women cannot practice law because for them it's not a very favorable profession, especially as litigating lawyers. He's absolutely right. That myth is completely busted. So before I get introduced as somebody who probably is working with an educational institution and is setting up educational institutions, I take a lot of pride in saying that I'm a practicing lawyer. And as it so happens, I do practice in the area of terrorism law and criminal law. So which are the areas which generally people would, imagine who are not from the field that, oh, women cannot be in this field. Let me tell you, there is nothing like that exists. Nowadays, there are a bunch and ton of opportunities that are open for women lawyers. So as long as you're competent, your gender does not matter in the profession. The second thing that, Mr. Handa was very rightfully talking about, that what are the options that you have after your 5-year degree law program? So, back in the day, I remember when I told my parents that I wanted to do law, they had this very stereotypical image in their mind, right? So they probably equated it to like Sunny Deol shouting Tariq pe Tariq in that movie Damini, and that's what they saw me doing. But hello, that's not reality. This is where everybody needs a reality check. So after you finish your 5-year degree law program from any of the law schools, there are a ton of opportunities that are open to you, which necessarily may not require you to actually pursue your master's. Like, I don't know how many of you know this, but generally you will when you talk to people from the profession, a lot of them have not done their master's, but they are excelling in the profession. Now, what are the various opportunities that are available to you? Yes, you have the plain vanilla option available. You have litigation. I see a couple of people have been asking about the judiciary. So if you're somebody who's interested to be on the other side of the bench, then yes, the judiciary is a great option for you. How do you go about it? You finish your 5 years degree law program. Every state runs their own judiciary examination. You write that exam, and depending on your vacancy and your rank, you get inducted as a lower judicial officer. Same ways, if you're somebody who doesn't want to practice in court, but you're more interested on the drafting and the strategizing side of it and want to work in more of a professional hierarchical setup, then a great option for you to work in is the law firms. Like, a lot of students today are actually coming to the national law schools because they are extremely attracted by the packages that, these various law firms offer in India today. So that is definitely an option that's available to you. Another option that would be available is that if you guys are interested in working in any of the multinational corporations, right? So the Amazons, the Googles, the Facebooks of the world, all of them have huge and robust legal departments, because as you can imagine, all of these companies have so much of legal work to do. So, you can definitely find yourself there. Sir mentioned very rightly about IAS. I must tell you, and I take a lot of pride in it. So in my batch itself of NLU Delhi, we had 5 people who have been inducted in the civil services. So definitely, if you're somebody who's done law and want to pursue IAS, it's a great combination. 2 reasons. Firstly, if you want to become a civil servant in our country, if you have prior knowledge of law, then you definitely will understand the regulatory setup of the country, and that's extremely favorable for you as a civil servant. And second, when you're writing the civil services examination, one of the main papers that is offered to you is law, right? And actually, if you're a law student, this is a very scoring paper. So that is why you would see that, in a lot of the top ranks, you would see a lot of lawyers figuring in. And that is the reason why. So definitely, it's a super option. Sir was again mentioning law and MBA. Fantastic option. I mean, so many people, want to become consultants. But, there's this myth in our mind that, consultants is only for people who come from the management sphere. That's not true. So, if you talk about the top consulting firms today, like be it the McKinsey's, the Boston Consulting, all of them come to the law schools to hire because they think that lawyers prove to be very, very good consultants. So, there are so many paths that are available to you. So, I always say that law is actually an enabling degree. Right? It becomes a stepping stone to so many different career paths you can take. Because anybody you talk to, even if you talk to your parents today, everybody requires some sort of knowledge of law to operate in society. Even if you want to start your startup, I know so many of my friends who have finished a 5-year degree law program and have started very successful startups. And I always ask them that, what? Do you think you wasted your 5 years in law school? They say, absolutely not. Because, today I have that knowledge of how the laws of this country function, and that really helps me in setting up a successful business, right? So there are definitely very many options that are open to you. Now, coming to the meaty topic, which is, law school and my journey from cracking the exam to law school. So I was just like any of you guys, but I was super hell-bent that I wanted to go to the National Law School or one of the top law schools. So I did work very hard. I see a lot of questions here right now about CLAT preparation. Guys, there is only one key to cracking these exams, and that is consistent, persistent, hard work. you have to keep practicing, each of these, questions from each of these sections. Somebody is asking here that, do you think if I'm going to prepare for the CLAT starting from today, is it a good thing? Start your preparation right now. I think, you can start at any point of time. It's really about how motivated you are and how many questions you are practicing. Just keep exposing yourself to as many questions, because really this exam is about, how well you're able to manage your time. How many questions are you effectively able to answer? The more number of questions you're going to touch, the more right answers are you likely to get, right? So you guys really have to focus on practice, because there's no other secret mantra to this other than practice, right? Now coming to law school. So law school is a fantastic journey. Like, I think those 5 years were probably the best years of my life. Initially, I remember when I was going to law school, my parents were like, oh my God, you could have, done some other degree, which might have just been 3 years long or 4 years long. You're going to law school, that's 5 years long. I think we are one of, the longest undergraduate degrees that we have in India today. But let me tell you guys, if you make use of that platform well, it just goes in a jiffy. I mean, there's so many different opportunities that are available to you in law school. So talking from my experience, as soon as I went into law school, I realized, so the biggest reason why I decided to do law was because, I realized I had the gift of the gab, and I said that, if I can make money on it, then why not? So that's why, I was like, okay, let's go and do law. And once I started going, I started studying for the exam and I went to law school, I realized I got introduced to mooting, right? So you have these moot court competitions that happen in law school. Great and fantastic opportunity, because these moot court competitions actually give you a chance to get your first taste at advocacy skills, at drafting skills. So for a lawyer, it's very, very important that you should be a very good communicator. You should have very good, you should be very articulate. You should have very good drafting skills. Having said this, let me tell you, if I know there are a bunch of people here who might say that, oh, just because I'm not an effective communicator, does that mean that I should not even think of doing law? No, that's not true. It's not like you're born with great communication skills. They can be developed over a period of time. And that's what you need to do in law school. You need to kind of map out what are the skill sets that is required by a lawyer. And you sort of have to ensure that in law school, you're tapping into all of those opportunities that will make you better at those skills. So one avenue is like moot court competition. Another avenue would be like, writing. Writing is very important. Drafting is very important as a lawyer. So in law school, how could you improve that? 2 ways of doing it. First is write extensively. Like, there's so many research options that open up for you at law school. There are research centers there. They are willing to take student researchers. So make sure you tap into those opportunities. The other opportunity that's very, very important is internships. A lot of people usually in their first and second year tend to take internships as a joke. And guys, trust me, that's the biggest mistake you can make, right? So while we were sitting here, sir and I have discussed so many different options that are available to you after doing your law program, right? Now, the question is, how do you decide that which option is meant for you? The only way you can do that is when you go and experience those options. And that is why those internship periods have been created for you. It's 5 semesters, 10 internships, and you have that chance in 10 different breaks to, experience different kind of legal roles that you can undertake. And that is what is actually going to help you identify what kind of lawyer do you want to be. That is why it's extremely, extremely important for you to tap into those opportunities. And, it's important that when you're choosing a law school, look for a law school that is giving you access to all of these different opportunities, right? Because this is what is going to make you excel at the profession. Don't ever look at this lens. Like, this is my personal opinion. Other people might disagree with me. Absolutely fine with it. But whenever you decide to go to whichever law school, don't ever go by rankings. Actually, you first need to look into it, find out what is the program all about, what is the curriculum all about, what are the subjects that you're going to be studying, what kind of facilities is the college giving you in terms of internships, in terms of placements, in terms of research options, in terms of moot court competitions, because these are what are the important makings of a lawyer. So I don't want to take further time. Over to Handa, sir.
Thanks, Kritika. That was very well put. Students, now we are getting a lot of questions about the entire preparation. Okay, Now let's deal with that. Okay, then we go back to Kritika again, because we need to talk a lot. All right, now let's understand. Okay, now first and foremost about the preparation part. Okay, now a lot of students, I'll again shatter a few myths here. Okay, this requires coaching from 11th class, like an IIT, JEE, or a medicine. No. All right, listen to this. Don't fall prey to, oh my God, this requires 2 years of preparation, 3 years of your preparation, nothing doing. Let me tell you how to prepare on your own. And at any point of time, you feel the need for coaching institutes to be brought in, you can. But first understand, how do you need to practice on your own? Okay, now first, let me help you. If you are a 2020 student right now, CLAT, please understand, CLAT date is not out as yet. Listen to this. If you're a 2020 student, ALET is 9th of August, 15th of August, and then 16th August is a possibility CLAT may not be conducting the test. They are saying 21 days we will take to come back to you. Now, if they release the date on 1st of July, it cannot be before 21st of July. Then the next Sunday is 26th of July and 2nd August. So there is a possibility. Think, the possibility is CLAT could be conducted on 26th July or 2nd of August. Let's look at it one of these days. Now, supposing, what if COVID situation becomes impossible to handle? That means ALET and all other exams will be pushed. So therefore, let's say even if it's 26th of July, and what's the date today? It is 19th. So I have 26 days and about 10 days here, 36 days with me. Please understand, if you have 36 or 37 days, you're sitting at home, there are no board exams. I am assuming there are no board exams, which means 10 hours of study a day into 35, 36 days is 350 hours. And let me tell you, if you are an average or an above average student, 350 hours, you can give a shot. You can actually have a great try at all the top exams. And please understand, ALET is another 10 days from then. All right. Okay. Now, so therefore 2020. Now, if you are a 2021 or a 2022 student, instead of rushing to a coaching institute and paying lakhs, what you can do, listen to this carefully. 9th and 10th class NCERT book. It will cost you 50 bucks or 100 rupees. Keep that. Your maths is sorted. All right. For any law exam. Next. Now let's talk about English. English is 3 areas: vocabulary, grammar, and reading comprehension. Okay, when it comes to these 3, and important, the most important I feel, out of these is reading comprehension, because reading comprehension straight away connects with your critical reasoning. And critical reasoning, which is part of what is called verbal logic, is a crazy area. All right. Now, if your reading comprehension is very good, then you'll be able to use the logics also. Logics like what would strengthen the argument, what would weaken the argument, and what assumptions. So that's very important area called critical reasoning. And then, of course, you have syllogisms, you have analogies, and a lot of other things thrown in from different. Now, how has CLAT changed? Okay, before coming to CLAT, let me first finish. So one is maths, second is English, third is logic. Fourth is something called legal. Now, please understand, a lot of students start reading contract, torts, consti, criminal law. Maybe if you've done some bit of preparation is good, but please understand the exams are refraining. They don't want you to have prior knowledge of law. They will give you a principle. They can give you 3 principles. They can give you 2 principles. They can give you a situation, and they could give you a combination. Apply the principle, apply the situation, then your common sense, apply common sense, and what will be the answer? Okay. So therefore, whether you have prior knowledge or you don't, you are good. Now, do you need to rush to a coaching institute? Now, I'm not saying don't go to a coaching institute. You want to, that's your choice. But all of you don't need to rush. You can start preparation on your own. Last is called GK. Now, a lot of students, what they do is, please understand, no coaching institute anywhere in the world can teach you 2 things. And take it from me in writing, who spent 2 decades. They can't teach you GK and vocabulary. Why? Because GK is a way of life. Vocabulary, you can't be taught. It takes time. So therefore, if you're an 11th or 12th class student, please start reading newspapers, magazines. Now, whether you read newspaper like this or online, or you have tons and tons of material right from your Khan Academy to, there are so many websites that give you free material. where you can prepare. You have now, these days, you have websites which give you GK for 18th June, GK for 17th June, GK for 1 week, GK compendium for 1 month, GK legal, business GK, sports GK. So therefore, so much. Therefore, can you prepare? Yes, we can prepare on our own. Now, where is a coaching institute? Where do they come handy? Listen to this. There is one thing which you need to have, that is called test series, because you need to benchmark yourself against others. Now, that benchmarking is important. Why? Because you not only do a proper a simulator exam, you also do what is called analysis. You do the analysis and you figure out, oh, I went wrong here. This question I didn't pick up right, or I got this caselet wrong, or I interpreted this data caselet wrong. So that's the analysis part that you need to do. Okay, now quick, few things. To your question, what about private exams, private institutions? Please understand, I have talked about this so many times. Each and every one will not make it to a National Law School, Bangalore. All of us will not study, as Kritika got lucky with sheer amount of hard work, and I would say maybe 1% of luck, but it's 99% hard work. Anyone I have seen in last 20 years, I would have seen thousands and thousands students go to the National Law School, all because of sheer hard work. Okay, and then just pray that on that day, all your mental faculties are there with you. All right, next is talking about private institutions. Please understand, private institutions are creating wealth. When I say wealth, matlab intellectual wealth. You would see there are hardly, when you talk about the old Banaras Hindu University, Aligarh Muslim University, Jamia Millia, Delhi University, I'm sorry, does not have a 5-year program. All right, it's got a 3-year program which you do after graduation. When we talk about National Law School, that's National Law School Delhi. All right, so therefore, when you talk about, like, for example, Kritika represents Vijay Bhumi, and then there are many other private institutions which are creating genuine intellectual wealth. Now, whether that's institutions in Mumbai, Pune, Hyderabad, Bangalore, Delhi, Dehradun, wherever. So whether it's down south, private institutions are doing very well. However, I go to a National Law School, that brand will help me at least get my first job interviews. However, if I go to a private institute, that doesn't mean you will not get a chance. You will get it. But I'm sorry, simply because you go to any private institute, I'm sorry, you don't get it as a birthright. You will still have to work hard. So when you listen to these stories, or this person from this coaching institute got this law institute got a 50 lakh start, 20 lakh, please understand, not everyone will get it. Not everyone. Go to your top IITs, go to top IIMs. Will everyone go to ISB? Does everyone get a 1 crore? No, not at all. Only few will make it. The rest will also have to struggle. So it all depends upon, as Kritika rightly pointed out, how best you make use of those 5 years, your internships, your research paper, your moot court participation, you're studying, you're genuinely working hard for academics, you're finding your calling, looking at those streams, your electives, everything will make a difference, right? Okay, Anchita, I'll keep writing. Why don't you take up questions with, and if there is a presentation that Kritika has, let's go ahead while I keep answering questions. Thank you.
Absolutely. Right, so we can go ahead with some of the presentation that Kritika wanted to bring up. So Kritika, we can start that.
Okay, great. I'll just start. Okay, guys, so before I actually talk to you about the university, I actually want to talk to you about also what's happening in the legal profession right now. So as you all know, right, in what has happened in this pandemic, so actually the coronavirus pandemic has actually been an opportunity for the legal profession. And I say this also as a member of the profession. I mean, nobody had ever thought that the Supreme Court of India or the high courts or the lower courts would function virtually. For the first time ever, we have a complete e-filing system that has been made in place in the Supreme Court. right? Along with that, during this lockdown itself, there were 4 virtual courts that were inaugurated by Justice Chandrachud. Now, what all that means is that suddenly, because of this coronavirus pandemic and social distancing, the legal profession has been forced into overnight digitization, right? And with this entire experimentation that has been going on during these 3 months of the lockdown, members of our fraternity have become more responsive and more willing to embrace technology, right? So what are the opportunities that here I'm talking about? There's going to be a growth in terms of the opportunities that are going to be available to you in the areas of technology law and legal technology. Mind you guys, technology law and legal technology are two different things. Legal technology, for example, is any of the startups that you see today, right? A lot of them are using technology to automate the mundane functions that are performed by lawyers using path-breaking technology such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain technology. So there are a lot of opportunities that are going to be created in that area, right? Because a lot of people today are looking at, relying on machines to perform mundane law functions such as due diligence, such as legal research, so that they need not hire human resources, right? So we need more number of lawyers who can work in the area of legal technology, who have a sound understanding of law as well as how to apply technology. So that is one area that's coming up. The other area that I'm talking to you about today is technology law. So sir mentioned about cyber security, data privacy, right? People are talking about, driverless cars. Now, guys, can you imagine that when we're talking about all these changes that are happening in the world, do you think that, the law sphere can remain isolated and can say that we're going to function only with the existing regulations? No, that's not going to happen. What is going to happen right now is that there's going to be this need to change the laws of our country, correct? When you need to change the laws of our country, even the kind of disputes that are coming to the courts are going to change, right? People today are talking about cyber terrorism between countries. People are talking about cyber theft, cyber fraud. People are today talking about, so many different activities that are taking place in the virtual space. So whatever kind of lawyer you are tomorrow, guys, always remember, when you are choosing a law school, you need to see it from the lens that the curriculum that they're delivering to you, is that going to make you ready when you're going to enter the profession 5 years later? Don't think about, okay, is it going to make me ready, when I'm going to, regards to, how things are in the year 2020. No, you are going to graduate in the year 2025. The world is going to look a lot different then. So your law program has to prepare you for that revolution. And that is the way you need to choose your law school today, right? So coming back to what I was saying, right? So the entire landscape of disputes are going to be changing. You can decide to be working in a law firm. You can decide to be a litigating lawyer. Absolutely fine. But you will still have to deal with disputes that will happen in the virtual space. Now, if you want to be a good and effective lawyer, it's not like just the law of, just an understanding of the law is going to take you through the dispute or the brief. That is not true. When we argue in court or when we are, giving an advice as a lawyer to any business, it is important for us to marry our legal advice into the practical nuances of the field that we are talking about. So it is very important for a lawyer to have holistic knowledge of more fields than one. You can't say, "Acha, meko sirf law pata hai." That is not going to make you a great lawyer. For example, Mr. Harish Salve, why did he become the most sought after corporate law counsel? The reason was that because before he was a lawyer, he was a chartered accountant. And then after that, one of his clients came to him and told him that, you're so great with numbers. We have this dearth of lawyers, who fail to understand how corporations work. Why don't you do law? You'll have a stellar law career. And that turned out to be true. So, right. So that is the opportunity that I'm talking to you guys about. A lot of people, what happens is that, when they are coming for the 5 years to law school, they only look at LLB degree. No, guys, don't look at only your LLB degree. That degree along with it, be it BA LLB, the BA, the BBA, the BSc that is attached to it, that is equally important. Why is it important? Because, you know, when you study those subjects, you will understand how to apply law to different fields. And that is a very, very important skill as a lawyer, because that's going to take you a long way in the profession. Just, you know, theoretically understanding the laws is not taking you anywhere, right? So all of these changes were, you know, the reason why we came up with Vijayabhumi School of Law. So I myself am a graduate of National Law University, Delhi, and I've gone through the curriculum myself. But what I also realized was that unfortunately in the National Law School setup, there is nobody who's revisiting the curriculum. So the world is changing so much, technology is changing so much, which means that there are going to be so many dynamic changes in the legal profession. But unfortunately, that is not being taught to us at law school, right? And what happens because of that is when we graduate from law school, we are not completely industry ready, right? So that is the sort of gap that we are filling up at Vijayabhumi School of Law. So Vijayabhumi School of Law is the law school of Vijayabhumi University, which is India's first liberal professional university. Now, what does a liberal professional university means? It means that we are applying the liberal arts framework to professional education, right? Which means, like I said, that as a lawyer, you cannot just have, you know, the knowledge of law. That's not taking you anywhere. You need to have a diverse set of knowledge in areas such as humanities, business, technology, design thinking, because all of those skills together will only make you a very good holistic lawyer. And that's what we do at Vijayabhumi University. So as a student at Vijayabhumi School of Law, you can be doing your BBA LLB program, but we are giving you this unique option to actually pursue your majors and minors in other disciplines as well. So in Vijayabhumi University, we have a business school, we have a school of data sciences and artificial intelligence, we have a school of design and design thinking, and we have the law school. So the law school students are completely free to take their majors and minors from the other schools as well. Now, you guys might ask me that why is this important? Guys, this will bring a big change and make a big impact in your CV. Because, you know, imagine when you're going for that job interview, and when it says there that, you know, there's this person who's done BBA LLB with a specialization in artificial intelligence and a minors in data sciences, you will be a very sought after person who they'd like to hire in their technology laws department, right? So this is where you can showcase that, you know, I have a very specified specialization. And that is a very unique offering that we have at Vijayabhumi School of Law. So like I said, the thrust of our university is completely on the process of discovery. We believe that every single student is unique. Every single student has their own passion and dreams, and the university should be the place where they should be able to discover it. Like we all were talking, right? You guys have decided you guys want to be lawyers, but there's so many different options available to you that what kind of a lawyer you want to be. You want to be an intellectual property lawyer, you want to be a media law lawyer, you want to be a sports law lawyer, a corporate lawyer. How do you find out what you want to do? That is where we step in. We ensure that we give you access to a plethora of opportunities. We give you access to a plethora of wide, diverse courses so that you can study those things, experience those things for yourself, and decide that what kind of a specialized lawyer you want to be. So like I was saying, guys, this is the complete unique proposition that we have at Vijayabhumi University. We call the first year the discovery year, where we have 8 different streams. You take foundational courses from the various different streams that are available to you that adds to a holistic knowledge as a lawyer. In your level 2 and level 3 courses is when you start studying your law subjects. Along with that, you have the complete freedom, like I said, to take specializations from the business school, the School of Data Sciences and Artificial Intelligence, as well as the design thinking schools. Along with that, we also have a great thing, which, you know, we call the International Pathways Program. So the International Pathways Program is basically that, you know, if you're interested, you want some international exposure, or you want a certain specialization that may not be available in our university, we have active collaborations with other foreign universities. So we actually facilitate a summer exchange for you, a semester exchange, where you can go and pursue your specialization there, and we count those credits in your Vijayabhumi School of Law credits. Right? And what that does is, again, gives that added zing to your CV and gives you that added specialization, which will make you completely industry ready for the specific job role you have identified for yourself. These are some of our advisors at Vijayabhumi University. We have Professor Dr. Ranveer Singh, who's the Vice Chancellor of National Law University, Delhi. We have Mr. Hitesh Jain, who's the BJP Vice President of Bombay. He's a managing partner of Parinam Law Associates, one of the leading law firms in India today. We have Professor Dr. Mrinal Satish, who's taught at the Yale Law School. He's currently at NLU Delhi. Professor Dr. Srividya, she's an alumnus of National Law School Bangalore, and currently is a tenured professor at Texas A&M University School of Law, one of the leading global law schools. We have Professor Dr. M.T. Singh, who is the ex-Vice Chancellor of NUJS Calcutta, and Professor Dr. Umesh Kadam, who is a faculty at National Law School Bangalore and India's first representative member to the ICRC. So as you see, some very eminent members that we have on our panel here. We are located in Bombay, which is the financial capital of the country. So I'm sure you guys can imagine the kind of opportunities that you would have access to, because generally in law, maximum opportunities are available either in Delhi, but if you're somebody who's interested in corporate, commercial, securities, technology law, Bombay is the place to be. So that's it from my end. Over to you guys.
Thank you so much, Ritika. That was really great. Thank you so much for giving us a very good idea about the university. Yes, sir.
Anchita, I have 2 questions to for Kritika, but just 1 second. I need to students, please listen to this carefully. Okay, I see all of you are writing. My God, the speed at which you're writing, please understand, we would need tons of bots to reply to your questions. Okay, I'm trying. I'm sorry, Kritika. I was trying to listen to you, but on the same side, I mean, you're trying to type. Okay, listen to this. I have shared my email ID. If you want to ask me questions, how to prepare, what books to get, I have 20 days left, I have 30 days left. Should I prepare for this? Should I prepare for that? I am willing to answer all these questions, but please understand, due to paucity of time right now, I cannot start giving you, okay, pick up this book, go to this website, do this, do that. So I would request, I have shared my email ID and I'm sharing it once again. Listen to this, PD, Parikshit Dhanda, pd@mindler.com. You want to write to Kritika, I'm taking the liberty. You want to write to her, we'll be more than happy to share her email ID. Please write to her. You want to ask her tons of questions about Vijay Bhumi or how to crack National Law School. By the way, they asked me, how many marks did she get out of this thing? Just for information, students, I don't know how many marks did Kritika get, but
I'm willing to share it.
But let me tell you, in order to, I'm talking about Kritika's year. Okay, so if you look at, say, 2010, 2011, 2012, out of 150, you needed minimum 100 to 110 to make it to National Law School, Delhi. All right? Yes, you could be lucky that maybe at 100, you just got yourself in, but to be safe, 108, 110 is like your 110, you're safe as far as those days I'm talking, but I'm not talking about today. All right. Now let's talk about, so therefore, Srishti, Muskan, Kanishka, all your questions, please write to me. I promise you, give me, 1 day or 2 days time. You will get the entire information, how to prepare, what books to go, what websites, free material, where to get, what test series to do will support you. How should you be doing your time management? How should you be looking at spending your time? Number 1. Number 2, students have this whole image that CLAT or ALAT or any other private exam, you need to take a gap year. You can't do this with your 12th class. For God's sake, you can do all this. I can make you meet people who've got the rank 20 rank, 30 rank, 15 rank all over the country with studying for their boards. So that's another myth that I'm sharing. Cracking. Next is my question to you, Kritika. Someone asked me, Nora asked me this question, so I'm asking you on behalf of, Nora said that I've heard that when you get into a law school, you have to do voluminous reading. Okay, reading, research, and at times it means rote learning, right? You have to remember judicial precedents, you have to remember case law and so on. Her question was, do you also have open book exam during your law schools? Okay, in your law school. So could you tell us about the exams that happen? She was just curious, so I decided to ask.
Sure. So firstly, actually, sir, coming back to your question on the myth that whether you can do your boards and all, not to boast off here, but when I wrote the CLAT and the IELTS, so I did get a rank in CLAT as well, and I got allotted NUJS Calcutta, but I still chose NLU Delhi over NUJS because I thought NLU Delhi was more promising. And mind you guys, when I went to NLU Delhi, the first batch hadn't passed out. So I took the gamble there, and it was a very good gamble. And I took it on the simple principle that what is the curriculum that they are offering and whether it's future looking or not. Second thing is about, preparing for the boards along with CLAT. So I got the third rank in Bangalore in my boards, and I also did the CLAT and the IELTS in the same year. So it is something that you guys can do. Okay, so it's not difficult. It's only about systematic studying. Now the question that Nora has asked is about open book exams. So I must tell you good news for you, Nora. A lot of things are changing now with the law school. So, with all the younger faculty that's coming in from, these foreign universities who have done their LLMs there. So they are bringing more of the concept of, application-based exams, right? So we have more of response papers that we are doing. The other thing that we are doing is we have open book exams, right? So what they do is they give us like for procedural subjects, we have had drafting exams. So like, for example, they tell you that, okay, fine, you have all the bare acts in front of you. This is the fact situation. Now you guys draft a petition. And on the basis of that, you're being awarded a grade. And mind you, this is a final exam assessment. Along with that, even in the regular exams, there are a lot of teachers who encourage that you can take your bare act because they give you fact situations and they want to check how well you can apply the law to the fact situations, right? So that is why I'm saying it's not necessarily rote learning. And also rote learning is not going to take you anywhere in the profession. You need to understand the law and the reasoning behind it. And that is also the reason why the CLAT is highly a reasoning-based exam.
That's right.
Yeah. So I think that is where. And apart from the reading part of it, the voluminous reading, guys, you guys are becoming lawyers. So you got to get used to reading it. And trust me, over a period of time, when you start reading it, your reading speed will improve. So these are very small hurdles. You need not worry about.
Great. We've got tons of questions coming up for Kritika, our guest. Before that, I'm just taking a minute here. For CLAT exam, how much of rote learning? No, trust me, there's not much of rote learning that you need to do. Okay. Next is how much time. Now, along with boards, please understand you need to prepare. And this is also treatment. Like, for example, April, May, June, July. Say your 12th class exam is in 2021. So April, May, June, July, you could study for an hour or two every day. Then when your exams come in, you don't study or you study less. 1 to 2 hours throughout the year is good preparation. And when I'm saying throughout the year, meaning only 4-5 months, I'm not talking about the entire year. Okay, please continue asking questions to Kritika while I keep answering their questions.
Right. Thank you so much, both of you. And I think we've covered a lot of questions and a lot of queries that students have asked here. There's just one more question that one of the students asked that, whenever they approach to anybody and they want to understand how to go forward with these exams, everybody has their own answers, their own opinion on how to crack these exams. So are there any kind of general guidelines that you would want to share with students with respect to these exams and preparation?
Okay, so when it comes to the CLAT exam and the IELTS exam, now because of the revision of pattern of the CLAT, now these have become completely two different features, right? But what I can do is I can share some tips and tricks with you of how you should be doing it. So for CLAT, I think even if you guys are starting today, like I said, absolutely fine. But what you need to be doing is every single day set up like 2-hour blocks, right? So allot 2 hours for each subject and make sure that you're constantly doing a lot of questions in that time, because see, legal reasoning is not something you can rote learn. Logical reasoning, absolutely not. You can't rote learn, right? So what you need to do is keep doing a lot of questions and keep timing yourself while you're doing the question. It's not like a question where you're just sitting for like 1 hour, because then that's just a waste of time. That's not taking you anywhere in the CLAT, even if you get that one question right, because it's really about solving 150 questions in 120 minutes. So keep timing yourself. The other thing is this paper is about strategy. So right now, what you guys need to sit and think that, okay, fine, I need to do 150 questions in 120 minutes. These are the 5 sections that I have. In your mind, you should already make a map as to how much time I'm going to be allotting to each section. So when you're timing yourself, time yourself according to that set time limit, right? That's going to make all the difference. For PK, another thing that I can give you, a trick which always worked for me is, guys, start making a folder. So what you should do is for each and every month, right, that you guys have been, so I think a good time for you to start from would be June of last year. So from June of last year, you take like sheets and keep noting down the major developments and make that your GK folder. Why is this important? Is because when you have to revise, you can't go back to reading the magazines or reading the articles that you were reading. You need to have a ready reckoner that's available. And this is what is going to help you, right? And make sure you guys are doing the 3 sample papers that are available on the CLAT exam, because on the CLAT website, because that's going to give you an idea of where this exam is headed. Now coming to IELTS, because I know I see a lot of questions about IELTS. So I hate to say this, but IELTS tends to repeat a lot of questions. So my advice to you is, guys, do all the past year's papers. Because, you just realize, that satisfaction when you go into an exam and you see that, oh God, I've done this question, that's what boosts your morale in the paper. So
Right.
make sure, you're doing that. I think that will really take you a long way in preparing for these exams.
Thank you so much, Ritika. I think students would be really, really happy with the kind of tips and tricks that you've shared, and that is really beneficial. Now, I just have a few questions about the university as well. So, as you've already talked about and you've already taken us through the university pattern, I just want you to highlight what are the different kind of measures, especially during this time that a university is adapting to take up the admission process and education for this year.
Yeah. Okay, so I think first thing, very important, guys, coronavirus is here to stay, you like it or not. I mean, we are seeing it. China is going through a second wave. So, guys, for you guys, it's really important when you choose educational institutions, see that they have a good digital infrastructure in place. Because, I mean, I don't know how many of you guys know this, but a lot of students in the various law schools are suffering right now. Either the exams are not happening on track, or classes are not being conducted properly. So make sure that you are looking through these things. These are very important things. You can't let your education suffer because of coronavirus. Yeah. So I mean, this is something that we take a lot of pride in at Vijayabhumi University, that we have stellar digital infrastructure. So coronavirus can be there or not be there, your education would be completely on track. Second, and most importantly, I think we're the only law school in India that has integrated technology in their curriculum. Like I said, right, technology is here to stay. You guys are reading it in the papers every day. Even the law profession is now moving to virtual platforms. So technology is extremely key, right? And unfortunately, no law school in India has technology in their curriculum as of now. So when I say technology in their curriculum, again, 2 things. Firstly, we will expose you to more number of areas of technology law. And second, which is very, very important in these times, improve your proficiency in using technology tools, right? Because that's extremely essential, right? Today, people are functioning over, Microsoft Teams, people are functioning over, Zoom, etc. Unfortunately, I must break it to you, a lot of lawyers are handicapped with technology, and they have suffered during this time. So this is where your cutting edge is, and this is what we do. We realize that this is very important. And third, very, very important, like I said, machines are going to come in, but what's going to make you relevant in the industry is how good you are at your soft skills. This is a highly, highly underrated area, right? See, machines can be there, but humans will always crave the human touch, which comes from soft skills, right? And we have that as a part of our curriculum at Vijayabhumi University, where we have a personality enhancement program where we are working on specific soft skills that are required for a lawyer, like advocacy, drafting, negotiation, mediation, your communication skills. Very, very important things. Now come to the admission part of it. We have an online exam, which is remote proctor. So you can be sitting at home and you can take the VSAT, which is our admission test. It is modeled on the same lines of the CLAT and the LSAT. And it does not have the GK component. So good news for the people who hate GK. Yeah, and you can take this from your home sitting right now. I know a lot of you guys must be very anxious right now. I can't even imagine if I was in your place, I must be losing my mind by now. So it's very important, guys, be practical about it. Even remember, the CLAT pattern has changed. All the years the CLAT pattern changes, we notice that, a lot of deserving students miss the bus. Because there are a lot of people who just end up doing well because of, a matter of luck and chance. So guys, keep every option open, keep your safety net options open so that you are at peace. That would be my advice.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
How many questions are still left for our guest?
Just 2 more questions, because I think Ritika has
Can I just butt in for a minute? Okay. Thank you so much, Kritika. Just Good to have you here because they'll be able to relate to you more. You are a lot of students again asking, will I have enough time to crack these exams right now? Please understand, we have Kritika here who's trying to help us. I'm also trying to take a lot of questions, but please, I cannot set a proper schedule for you. That's why we are sharing our email IDs. You want us to help you with websites, you want us to help you with what content, you want us to help you. I've already got 11 emails. Lavanya, I got your email also. Okay, I just got it. I'm getting emails. Keep writing. Within 1 or 2 days, 1 or 2 days at max, by Sunday, your replies will be, you can ask us customized questions. You can even tell me how much time do you have at your hand, and I'll be able to customize a plan for you. Don't worry. And you don't need to, we are not asking you to rush to buy books. That's the beauty. You can apply. And please understand, law right now, if supposing just to tell you, say there are 20 institutes for law. I'm just giving an example. You would have missed only 1 or 2 by now. Everything is still open. Everything is still open. Can you do it for this year? Yes. Over to you, Anchita.
Right. Thank you so much. And I think Kritika has covered a lot of questions that I wanted to ask already. So I'll just jump on to the questions that we have not talked about. So
Yeah.
Kritika, I just want to understand, are there kind of any changes that we're going to look at in the Indian spectrum post this COVID-19 scenario in terms of the opportunities for lawyers? And if there are going to be any changes, what do you think are the basic skill sets that the students should work upon? Like you've already mentioned technology bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's where the major opportunities are going to lie. I mean, a lot of people don't realize this, but there's so many vacancies that are lying in the cybersecurity area. But unfortunately, we don't have professionals who have the requisite qualifications, right? So I think the tons of opportunities are going to be in that area. The other area where I see a lot of opportunities are in the regulatory practice areas, right? So there are a lot of opportunities coming up there. Corporate commercial laws, again, tons of opportunities in that area. So I think, the conventional fields of, constitutional law, civil law, criminal law, see, we have maxed out on the number of opportunities that are available there. Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be that many changes that will happen. But all of these new areas like corporate, commercial, securities, technology, this is where you're going to see a lot of diverse roles that are coming in. And like I said, legal technology, you cannot even imagine the exponential growth in that area and the kind of money people can mint in it. Because in India, unfortunately, we don't have too many legal technology in-house firms.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely a lot of scope.
Absolutely. That opens a lot of doors. And
Sorry. I'm again. A lot of you are asking me, is maths? I didn't have maths. Please understand. When you crack the law exams, all right, listen to this, and once and for all, this will help you. When you talk about for law exams, all law exams, it's English, verbal logic, legal reasoning. They're right up there. Okay, GK also important. Maths is insignificant. If you talk about CLAT or ALET or whatever exam, LSAT maths is not there. Whatever SLAT, whatever you're talking about, maths is not going to be a problem if you've done maths till 8th, 9th, 10th. Don't worry. You absolutely safe. Let's continue quickly.
One more thing quickly, Kritika, without taking much of your time. How is Vijayabhumi University helping students to get more industry exposure in terms of the internships that you mentioned? You mentioned it's a very crucial element during all the 5 years of law that you study.
Yeah. So, I think there's a very important thing that Sir had said initially. So, initially what happened that, there was a roadblock for why a lot of people were not coming to the legal profession was because of nepotism. Okay. Because, generally people who came from families of lawyers had access to opportunities, and people from first generation did not have access to opportunities. Guys, even I'm a first generation lawyer, right? But I realized that, it is very important that the university that you go to needs to give you access to those opportunities. So in Vijayabhumi University, making sure that you get the internship of your choice according to what you want, along with that, giving you access to placement opportunities, all of that is our headache, right? So that is one part of it. Along with that, what I think is very important of industry exposure is also the fact to constantly keep inviting practitioners to take your legal courses. So, what happens is, unfortunately, in law, a lot of our law professors have never practiced. They don't have the practice aspect, right? Which doesn't make your knowledge on a subject 360 degrees. But what we can do is, like I said, because we have stellar digital infrastructure, and because of the fact that we are located in Greater Bombay, we have all these eminent lawyers who will be coming and taking your law courses, which is what is going to give you that edge and give you the required practical knowledge. That is also a very important part of industry exposure. And what that also helps you in is in building a professional network. So law as a profession really functions on building a professional network. So at Vijayabhumi, you start building a network while you're at university, right? So that's different.
Thank you so much.
If I could add again, as Kritika's talking about Vijayabhumi University, a lot of I will not name, but let me share. I would like to highlight one example. If you heard Kritika say that when she had a choice to go to NUJS Kolkata, now please understand, when we look at the national law schools, we look at Bangalore, Hyderabad, Kolkata. All right, and then of course Jodhpur, Bhopal, Gandhinagar, all of them come in. Now at that time, she decided to choose National Law School Delhi, where she had not even seen the first batch out. Now that's a call that you take. There are a lot of students I know who got through to national law schools, but picked up few institutes where even I would have said, are you sure? Absolutely so. So it's about your enterprising nature. It's about you understanding where this is. Now at that time, NUJS Vidhi is also through CLAT. Okay. Now at that time, did Kritika know that in 2017, 18, 19, 20, Delhi, National Law School Delhi would have people teaching from Oxford, Cambridge, Wharton, whatever. You have one of the topmost faculty members teaching there. So please understand, it's not like it's private versus government. Private colleges, I can name so many of them, who a lot of students would say, oh my God, I don't know how this is going to be. And within 10 years, everything changed.
Yeah.
So remove these mindsets. I mean, remove this mindset of the cobwebs that private institutes are not good. Private institutes are doing so much. Let's talk about all the liberal arts universities that we know today, right from Azim Premji to Shiv Nadars to whatever that you know. Look at them. The entire liberal arts is private, and all of us are running for it.
Yeah.
So as she pointed out, infra is changing. Everything is changing. The country is changing. And today we don't even talk about government jobs. Today we talk about private sector first. All right, over to you, my friend.
Thank you so much. I think that was really great, and we are already getting a good feedback from students that their informations have been answered and they've got a lot of queries, and already mails have been to PD sir already.
Yeah, already getting.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Kritika. I think that was really great and really informative for all of us to understand the different things about law here, especially the specializations in the university bit. Thank you so much for your time. And students, if you have...
Yeah. Sorry, we still have close to 200 students watching us. So if you have more questions, don't worry, we are not going. We are not letting Kritika go. Kritika is also with you. So instead of saying thank you, if you have more questions, we are ready to answer. All right. Quickly ask us more questions. Our friend is here. She's here to answer your questions. Give them 5 minutes if they have more questions. Okay, let's answer. Anything else that you want us to? All right. You are preparing for your questions very well. You still have enough time. My request, Kritika, would you like to share a few comments or a few insights about how they should stay safe, how they should prepare sitting at home, how they can still make it, how they should be applying to these colleges? Any quick last words?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I think you very rightly pointed out, there's no need for a coaching. All you need access to is just test series, to be very honest, because you have to keep exposing yourself to questions. And also because in this scenario, what has happened is after the pattern has changed, now there are not too many places where you can go hunting for questions. So, a test series is a great idea, and it also gives a good idea of how you're doing in terms of the other people who are preparing. So sign up for 1 or 2 test series. That always works well. Apart from that, like I said, guys, 2-hour slots every day, do every subject. Keep timing yourself. If I was in your place, I would be doing at least 4 mock papers in a week. I'm sorry, I may sound too ambitious, but this is what takes you a long way.
Yeah. So to add to Kritika, I would have said maybe 3. She's like little ambitious. She said 4. Who can do 3 or 4? If you want a command over your subjects, absolutely you can do 4 also. But 3 is perfect. All right, 3 to 4 is perfect. So I'll second that. The other thing that you must see, please understand, if you keep listening, if you've heard Kritika properly, then right now, and please don't go to your coaching institute and say, you know what, I went and attended this session and Parikshit and Kritika were saying coaching. No, we're not saying coaching institutes are not required. We are saying you need to make a call as to when they need to come in. Okay, it's more important your preparation. Just to give you an idea, if you talk about asking GK questions. Now, earlier it used to be they will have a GK question with 4 choices. Today, if you look at the fresh CLAT format, they could have a discussion on recession and depression in the age of 2020. Okay, economic recession. Now they can say, hold on, in 2008-9 when subprime crisis happened, where did it originate? Now you would say, hold on, that's a GK question. It's a static GK question, but it's relevant to what we are discussing now. So that's how they are going to ask you questions. All right. Yeah. Great. Kritika, last 2 questions we are picking up. What opportunities are there for students who want to pursue law and mass comm? My God, what do we tell them? Law and media, law and journalism, right from your Arnab Goswami asked to appear before court, or to I mean, can you imagine? There are stories, breaking stories. Then there are so many laws. Then we are talking about judicial activism. We're talking about privacy. We're talking about non-compete. We're talking about anti-competition. We're talking about so many things here. You know, I'm sorry, maybe you came in a little late, but Kritika, you've already given them your email ID?
Yeah.
Now she's going to be flooded. Kritika, our guest, has already shared her email ID. You can write to her. Anchita, if you could also just pick it up and paste it few times so they could write to her. Great. And you have my email ID. Please feel free to write to us. We'll be more than happy to write back to you. Just give us 2 working days and we are coming back. Kritika, thank you so much. It's been wonderful having you here.
It was my privilege. I think I had a great session with the both of you. I mean, it's amazing to be doing this session with also a fellow lawyer, because usually, you know, we end up doing this session with people who may not be from the profession and don't understand the nuances.
Yes.
So I think it was very engaging. It was very, very well conducted. So kudos to the Mindler team for putting this together and for you to being so passionate about it. I think this was incredible, and it was my honor to be here this evening.
Thank you. And as I keep talking, I keep telling you, it's people like Kritika, it's people like you. We need young blood to come in and make changes. It's only the youth which will make a difference. So thank you so much. Stay safe. Thank you, Kritika. Thank you, Anchita. God bless all of you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.